I don't know how this is going to go. I have no clue, but we're going to do it. It is 12:13 in the morning, and I'm doing this podcast because of consistency purposes. Said I was going to be consistent, and plus, there's enough of you out there now that would kill me if I don't put out a podcast, and I appreciate you all. I talked last week about having like I'm being on this like smoothie kick. Like, so what I decided is I'm going to start doing 2 smoothies a day and one solid meal a day. Um and see if that helps. I feel a difference in my energy and all of that type of stuff. Like, cause I feel like I don't get enough greens, so my smoothies will consist of a lot of green stuff, like green leafy type of things. So yeah, gotta cleanse, man. Gotta cleanse. Um, my name is Duce Banner, and welcome to the Adventures of Duce Banner and his unpopular opinion. Um, like I said, I don't know how this podcast is gonna go, but we'll see how it goes. I feel like I feel like there's an echo in my voice right now, and it's throwing me off. But I mentioned the smoothie thing because I'll be drinking it periodically, so you'll hear this from time to time. Hear it all that go down my throat like that. Um, yeah, I think we should keep this at least in the beginning, at least about what I'm about to bring up right now. I probably should keep this somber tone for right now. Um, as you all know by now, a great legend, great musical artist has left us, and he will be sadly missed. At 57 years old, Prince has gone on. Um, what can you say about Prince? There's a lot that you can say about him, and then he's still mysterious, so there's not a lot that you can say about him. He produced great art, and whether people want to admit it or not, he influenced a lot of the great artists, and even some of the regular artists he's influenced. Prince, um, I think he was a pivotal. He's been pivotal to music, and I don't think there would be an era like I think he affected an era most definitely. Like, like where it was like apparent, like that 80s definitely, and the early 90s for sure, where you can't talk about those times without Prince, and he will be sadly missed, um, and he will be greatly missed. Um, Maybe next week when I have guests, I'll probably like do like I don't even think it's proper to do a top 10 on Prince because he's got so many albums, and we won't get into conspiracy theories about whether this was a natural death or the flu or something or another, Illuminati or whatever you want to call it. We won't get into that. Um, but the music world should be in in great grief at this moment. I saw a post earlier today by Jasmine Sullivan where she was saying, I was, I think I screenshotted it because I wanted to talk about it, but I didn't want to misquote it. Um, she's talking about like the state of music and how people need to step up their game. Okay, I found it. Who's going to carry the torch of these legends? We got to take music more serious, artists. We've lost too many greats. Got to step our stuff up. Stuff is in parentheses. Um, I just put it in parentheses because she didn't say stuff. And it raises the question for me. Um, is I don't like well I don't listen to contemporary or mainstream music too often. Like I'm not a big fan of it. I'm not a fan of the Rihannas, the Nicki Minaj's, the Drakes and all of that type of stuff. I think I would appreciate a Jasmine Sullivan. Um I appreciate Emily King. I appreciate um the Leanne LaHavises of the world. I appreciate the Thundercats. I appreciate um, the Roots. I appreciate uh, um, it's just so many people to name. I appreciate the Alina Barazes of this world. Um, the Royce the 5 9s of this world who dropped an amazing rap album recently. So I think it's not that people it's not so much the artist. It's not so much the artist. I truly believe that it's the consumer. The consumer defines what's hot, what is to be played, what is going to make money. Believe it or not, people, the music business is just that. It's a business. So when you hear the music that you hear, that's just the wave that the business is going in. Because this is what sells. It's not so much it's not at all who's the best artist. It's who's going to make this label or this person or this producer or whoever is helping push this artist the most money. Sad to say, like I wish we lived in a world like that where it was all about talent. A lot of people would be in different spaces in life, but that's not where we are today. Um, I guess that's why a Jasmine Sullivan, who is an amazing singer, isn't where isn't where I think her talent should have her. Not to say that she isn't successful and that she isn't doing shows and all of that type of stuff, but when you have a Jasmine Sullivan and then you got a Rihanna who's everybody loves her off of sheer persona as opposed to musical talent, that's the world that we live in. That's the music that everybody is consuming. So it's not so much the artist has to step their game up, it's the listener has to step their ear up. We live in a world where people literally are famous and celebrities for just being famous and being celebrities. You don't know where they came from, you just know that they're famous. So that's the world that we live in. That's the consumer mentality. You're not necessarily buying talent, but you're buying a name. So it's not about I wouldn't call it it's about stepping your game up or whatever. First of all, Prince is Prince. And you can't duplicate a Prince. And Prince, he even said that he appreciated the James Browns and the Lenny Kravitz of this world, but he realized he was neither of those two. He was neither one. So all he could be was Prince. So all I ask of Jasmine Sullivan is to be Jasmine Sullivan. All I ask of the Alicia Keyses in the world is to be Alicia Keyses. Or, whoever it may be. So we can't so I don't know about stepping it up, but I do know as far as the artist is concerned, because there's a bevy of music. There's a smorgish. Oh, I can't say that word. There's a smorgasbord of artists to choose from that are talented, extremely talented in their own right. It's up to the consumer to dictate to the music business what they want to be heard. And believe it or not, that's what's happening. We are dictating what we want heard because we keep buying stuff that isn't what it is. We just keep buying the catchy thing as opposed to the true art thing, you know? That's why when you put out singles, you put out light stuff. And but what's happened is a lot of people have um come to like the light stuff, and that's all they want to hear. So when they think that they get music, it's like, no, a single is a sample. And a single is just supposed to catch you. But the album is supposed to captivate you. The album is supposed to draw you in. The single is supposed to catch you. The album is supposed to keep you. I had to take a sip of my co-host smoothie. Um, Lon wanted me to talk about the state of music one day, and at that point, I don't think I felt very strongly about it, but apparently I do. So I'll table that for another time. But I did want to mention that, and we lost Prince. Let Prince be Prince. Don't think that you gotta duplicate Prince. Don't think that you can duplicate Prince. Um, God made Prince who Prince was, and that's what it is. Um, it's kind of hard for me, and I'll be honest with you all. It's kind of hard for me to say rest in peace to someone where I'm not sure where they went, and I hate to sound morbid about that, but as a as a believer, I'm very I'm very I believe in the afterlife, quote unquote, and I believe that people go certain places, um, and how they get there and where we are and all of that type of stuff. I'm not gonna get into all of that today, but it's kind of hard for me to just to say rest in peace when I'm not quite sure, about somebody's life and all of that. And it's not for me to judge, so I don't know how to sign off to Prince from this, but I do like Rest in Purple. I think I kind of like that. That was a good medium for me. Rest in Purple, I suppose. Um, I think he lived his life the way that he wanted it lived, and Prince has been known to be very spiritual. Has been known to believe in one God and all of that type of stuff. He was like contrary to popular belief and about what people want to make me to be. I believed in this, that, and the third, and but we differed on a lot of views. Um, but I'll just say that Prince will be missed, and I think I had to address that because somebody's like, well, where do you think Prince went when he died and all of that? And it's like it's not so much about how you die; it's about how you lived. That's really what it's about. Um, so we got a lot to cover this week, but it's gonna be one of these podcasts. It's gonna be one of these podcasts. Um, I just spoke about Prince, Birdman. We might come back. We might come to that. The Bathroom Brawl, Lemonade by Beyonce, The Election, China, Royce the 5'9", Playoffs, Little Kim, the 30-year-old high school basketball player. Yes, that happened. Tipping, Panhandlers, Harriet Tubman, and let me tell y'all about my weekend real quick. My friend Laura Lee, who was an avid listener of the podcast, shout out to you. It was great having her down here for Friday night and Saturday. Just such a sweet person to be around, and for me, like showing her around the city and like just hanging around her and like just showing her Atlanta. She took me to see Cirque du Soleil, someplace that I've never been, and I wasn't disappointed. I wasn't disappointed. If you haven't been, the tickets cost an arm and a leg for a circus, but I would say that it's pretty worth it. You should try it out. Um, yeah. You know what? I'll probably make this podcast 30 minutes. 30 minutes since I'm being somber and I'm lacking energy and enthusiasm. Yeah. And plus, but y'all, I gave y'all like 5 podcasts in a 2 week span. Like, come on. You guys shouldn't be mad at me. I heard Lemonade by Beyonce over the weekend. I saw it actually with a couple buddies. Um, didn't really get to hear it because they were, just talking over everything, which is cool. But I saw it. There's one song in particular that I like. All Night is because she's talking about forgiveness, and she's talking about the like forgiveness. Sometimes takes forgiveness is a process. Sometimes it isn't always immediate. But she's talking about on that song, she's talking about it's going to take me time to forgive you, but I'm willing to. I'm willing to work on this. I'm willing to get back where we were. So the song is called All Night. I think it's a direct correlation to Drunken Love, where she's saying we be all night. Whoa, we be all night. I think that's a direct correlation to that, a direct reference to that song. So she's saying like once again, one day we'll be back to that place, and where I'm like just drunk in love with you. Yeah, I think that's a good place to be. My thing is this: why are people surprised that Jay-Z was cheating on Beyonce? I don't think that like it was speculated for a while. It was speculated for a while. Um, I think it's always a pleasure to see an artist like really unveil their heart because and like yeah like really pour their heart out because you don't see that a lot of times. You don't see that amount of vulnerability and transparency in a lot of artists, and it's refreshing. And like that's the type of music that I actually like really want to hear. You don't like I listen to those type of artists. Like whatever you're going through, if you're communicating it in such a way, I'm all for it. I think it's therapeutic. I think that Lemonade was therapeutic for her. If that's really what she went through and all of that type of stuff. But it's become apparent that it is. The election. We'll talk about the election really fast. Um, it's looking like it's about to be Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton, much to young America's dismay. It's looking like it's going to come down to uh, Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. And at this point, we just praying for the lesser of two evils. Bernie Sanders, he would need to win 60% of the delegates from here on out to even be in the running from now on. And what they're saying is it's really unlikely and it's like close to impossible. But I think at this point, Bernie should start running his campaign. But I'm glad I'm not his campaign manager. But at this point, he should probably just be running it like, yo, thank y'all for considering me, and I just wanted to be a voice. A voice for the people, a voice for the young people, a voice of like what it could have been. And I'm glad I got to stay in this race for this long. So like he barely got the amount of votes to stay in it this long. So but I think it's kind of hard to pass up on a guy that cares about black people, like and cares about people of all races. Let me just not make it exclusive to black people because it's not. He cares about people of all nations, of all backgrounds, and it's kind of hard not to get behind a guy like that, in my opinion. But apparently, America cares about, and that's like, I think that's what it just shows where people's hearts truly are, where they lie. Oh well, we want a woman president. Is she the best candidate? Oh, we want to make America great again. Is he the best candidate? You know, do you, like it just shows where America is in my mind. Like you have like a true humanitarian at like, and it's for me it's just hard. I'm not, like I said, I already prefaced it in my first episode. I'm not getting into the conservative liberal thing. There's already separation between church and state anyway, you know. So like unless Jesus is running for president, we're gonna have fallible politicians. But yeah, it's just hard to watch at this point for me. Like where it's like, man, I really have to just like trust, and pray for the next leader of the free world, and pray against certain things that they might even want to implement for some. So that's that on the election so far. Um, the playoffs. I had my bracket. I had a bracket, and so far my bracket is holding up. Ladies and gentlemen that do not watch sports, you might want to adhere to this bracket momentarily. In playoff talk. Now, this is the time like where I hear a lot of women say, "I don't watch sports until the playoffs, until they're actually playing for something," which is dumb because they're always playing for something. They're either playing for they're playing for playoff position, bragging rights, records, um, yeah, bragging rights against a rival team or whatever. But mainly, you're playing for a position in the playoffs, and the better your record, the better your seed is in the playoffs. It matters because it determines home court advantage and all of that type of stuff. So I hate when people say I only watch when they're playing for something. They're always playing for something, or they should be. Um, I'm not too. I'm not too. I don't think I'm too abreast of the the Heat, the Heat Hornets. Let me look that up really quick. But I know I definitely, of course, I had the Warriors coming out of the first round. And we'll talk about that real quick. More on that. I know I got the Warriors coming out of the first round. Got the Spurs coming out of the first round. I got and this is all West Coast. Got who else? Got the Thunder coming out of the first round. I don't know if they won tonight. About to find out right now. And who else is in the first round? So Oh yeah, and I have the Clippers coming out the first round. Um, but so where are we? So who won tonight? Oh yeah, so OKC just won tonight. So they won 4-1 in the series. So they'll be going on. Um, let me find out who's winning in this. Oh, the series is tied 2-2 with Charlotte and Miami. Okay, so back to my bracket. So I'm caught up on that. I just want to see how accurate my bracket is. So I got the Warriors and the Rockets, and like I made this bracket up before the playoffs started, like the day before the playoffs started. So I got the Warriors, no, or maybe the day of. It doesn't matter. Um, I got the Warriors, Rockets. The Warriors winning that series 4-1. I got the Clippers beating out the Blazers 4-2. Um, so right now, let me back up. The Warriors Rockets series is 3-1. So right now, that assumption of like how they're gonna win is taking place right now. The Clippers Blazers. I got the Clippers winning out 4-2. Right now, the series is 2-1. They're playing right now. I think they're playing right now. Um, I have the Thunder beating the Mavericks 4-2. So I gave the Mavericks one extra game to win. Apparently they didn't want it, so they lost 4-1. I got the Spurs beating the Grizzlies 4-1. I had more faith in the Grizzlies than I should have, so the Grizzlies won 0 games. Um, then Um, I got the Warriors playing the Clippers, and the Warriors beating the Clippers 4-1. Now that has changed. My bracket now, we gotta bring this up. Well, let me go back. Let me finish everything. But I got the Warriors playing the Clippers, and the Clippers losing to the Warriors in an ill-fought battle on their behalf. Um, I got the Spurs beating out the Thunder 4-2 in that next series in the semifinals. And then I got the Warriors and Spurs, and the Warriors getting the best of the Spurs 4-2. So on the East, I have the Cavaliers beating out the Pistons 4-1. The Pistons didn't get that game that I thought that they would win. They got swept. I have the Hawks losing to the Celtics in the first round. So my this pick right here, you're gonna be like, for those that know anything about basketball right now, you're gonna be like, "Are you kidding me? Do you really believe that?" No, I'm not sure if I believe it. This is what I think can happen. This is what I think that they're capable of. I got the Celtics getting the Hawks out of here 4-2. No, or yeah, I got the Celtics getting the Hawks out of here 4-2. Right now, the series is tied 2-2. The Celtics won last night in an overtime win. I got the Heat getting the Hornets out of here barely by the skin of their teeth. Game going to 7. Series going to 7. So that would mean that the Heat won 4 games and the Hornets won 3. Then I got the Raptors getting the Pacers out of here 4-2. Now, at first, it looked kind of bad because, the Pacers won like 2 games, and it was like 2-1 or whatever. And now their series is tied 2-2, if my memory serves me correctly. The series is tied 2-2. Yeah, because they play tomorrow. And that's, dope. Series tied 2-2. Um, so in the semis, I have the Celtics getting the Cavaliers out of here. Surprise, surprise. I have the Celtics getting the Cavaliers out of here 4-3. So that's a 7-game series, and it going all the way, like with the Celtics, like just gritting it out, just grinding it out, playing tough defense, making the Cavaliers work hard for every basket that they get. Um, so in the other semis, I have the Heat losing to the Raptors 4-2. Then in the Eastern Conference Finals, I have the Celtics beating out the Raptors 4-2, just because I think that they're a gritty team. So 4-2 Celtics. So I have the Warriors and the Celtics. And this is my unpopular opinion, of course. And of course, I got the Warriors just tearing the Celtics up 4-1. And I'm giving everybody one game. I gave everybody one game, I think. I don't think I had anybody getting swept. Nah, I should have known better. But but my bracket probably is going to change now, at least for the East Coast, or the West Coast rather, because my beloved favorite player in the NBA right now, Steph Curry, is hurt. He had an MRI today. He banged his knee. He slid on the basketball court, banged his knee on the ground, and apparently he has a sprained knee. And but it's grade 1, so he'll be out at least 2 weeks. Hopefully, at most 2 weeks. And but they don't play again, so I think they can still get him back in time enough to get the Clippers out of here. Because look, I think they're gonna play the Clippers, but right now that that we'll see what happens. Cause no, do they? Yeah, the Blazers are playing the Clippers right now. They're up 64-68. Um, Whoever they play, they're gonna in this next round. They're going to need Stephen Curry. They're just going to. They're going to need him. Um, so yeah. So he's out 2 weeks. What can happen is you get. I'm speaking as a Warrior. We get the Rockets out of here. We finish them up on when do they play? We finish them up on Wednesday, and that's good because he got 2 weeks. So that this is an extra couple of days because usually in the playoffs they play every other day. So they haven't had to play since Warriors haven't had to play since Sunday. So they got 3 days off, and they don't have to play again until Wednesday. So what we do is we win this game against the Rockets. Hope that win that final game against the Rockets. Hope that the Clippers Blazers series goes 7 games, which will give us more time to rest, and then give Steph Curry more time to rest. Get Try to win a couple of games before Steph Curry comes back, and then we should be good to go. And I think that would make if he does come back and he's raring to go and he's 100%. What a story this will be. What a story this will be. I think that the Warriors can hold down the fort until he gets back. Do I think that they can win a series, this next series or any series after this without him? No, I do not. So prayers going out to Steph Curry for a speedy recovery. An MVP season for you. He's definitely going to be the MVP. They haven't announced it yet, but he's definitely going to be the MVP. And this would be great just to see, like, yo, this dude came back from multiple injuries because he sat out 2 games in the series already from an ankle injury. So now he also has more time to rest his ankle, which was jacked up for a little bit. So his knee will be like, this could be a blessing in disguise, man. It's probably a blessing in disguise. So yeah, but in that event, if he's at I just got the Spurs, of course, going to the finals, of course, and them taking it all. Yeah, Birdman stopped by the Breakfast Club for all of 2 minutes and came to get his respect and claimed his respect and left with even less respect on his name. Like, the memes have been nonstop. The songs have been nonstop. The photos have been nonstop. The videos have been nonstop. The quotes have been nonstop. He was upset at some stuff that Trick Daddy and Rick Ross had said about him on the Breakfast Club, and some things that the host of the Breakfast Club has said about him. With him being speculated to be dipping and dabbling in homosexuality, and him kissing Lil Wayne, and him not giving people their money and all of that type of stuff, like Drake and Nicki Minaj and Lil Wayne, of course. And he came in there and told them to put respect on his name, and left with even less of it in his name. So that's all I have to say about that. So if you haven't seen it, but you've seen these memes all the time with Birdman on it, talking about respect and spelling respect wrong, that's what it is. I'm going to talk about tipping. And because when I was out with my friend from Jersey, just had the most horrible waitresses and waiters. And like here I am trying to show her Southern hospitality, which I don't believe that it exists in Atlanta. That's another topic. Just a moment. Gotta take a swig of my smoothie. But yeah, just had the worst waiters and waitresses. So there's one, but it's hard for me not to give people a tip because when we're talking about tips, we're talking about what people deserve. And my mother convicted me early on. Like she was like, never. She said, I try never not to give a tip because as a believer, as a Christian, we didn't get what we deserved. You know, when, like, so if somebody's bad, like now there's percentages. Of course, I hope anybody that's listening to this knows that you can give percentages. There's 15%, there's another percent. There's 15%, there's 18%. I like to give 20%. If you did a half decent job, I'm giving you 20%. It's easier. It's better math too. But like at it, but 20% is very generous. And then on top of that, I'm rounding up. You had to have been the worst for me to give you 15%. You know, and this time this lady was the worst. There was another time when the other dude was serving us was the worst. So I do, but people, they feel like, oh well, tip your waiters because they don't make money da 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 with their regular checks and all of that stuff. But there's a dual responsibility here. There's a dual responsibility. When I see that you're doing a good job, I should tip you well for doing a good job. Yes, I should tip you because you've waited on me. But I know that there are waiters and waitresses that just hang on to, oh, well, you're supposed to tip me anyway, and it is what it is. So I do a piss poor job at serving you because you're just supposed to tip me anyway. And then you got some people that don't wait on you well because they don't think that you're about to give them a good tip. I like to give people, like there was this one guy, he waited on us and he waited on us and he knew like everybody at the table was just ordering water and we weren't really hungry, and he just kept coming and check on us. And I wasn't hungry, but I bought some stuff. And like literally it came out to maybe like $3. I tipped the guy $5. Like, bro, like, thank you for waiting on us. Like, that's not like, but I was thinking about writing a note, and then I was like, wait a minute, this $5 says it. Like, leaving a note says, I think I really gave you a whole bunch of money. You know what I mean? So I didn't do the note thing, but but I talked about it with the people that I was with, and that was something that I brought up. It's like, yeah. Well, a note says something else. A note says, like, I really think $5 is a lot of money to be giving a waiter, and it's really not. But for what it cost and for what he had to do for it, like, it wasn't, it was reasonable. $5 says it. But yeah, there's a dual responsibility, and like literally just had the worst waitress, man. Like, one time she literally walked past me. I was saying, excuse me. She really walked past me. I said, excuse me, ma'am, excuse me, ma'am, excuse me, ma'am. She walked right past me. And my friend had to flag her down. And like she couldn't turn the television to the station that I was asking. And then, she never once asked us how we were doing. She never once stopped to refill my drink or anything like that. She was just the worst. But then, here I am. I like to reason, and I like to give people the benefit of the doubt. I'm like, because my thing, I'm trying to find something redeemable about this to where she can get a tip. And all I could come up with, which was good, was she didn't have an attitude. She didn't have an attitude while she wasn't serving me. So I really don't. So what my conclusion was, I really don't think she knows that she's a horrible waitress. I really think that she thinks that she might be doing a good job, even though she's not. Now, some people, I am the person that I don't like when waiters come up to me 3 or 4 times, like before I even take a bite of my food, ask me how is everything, and then that, like, hey, can I get you guys? Like, it's just too much. Maybe come back to the table maybe 4 times throughout the course, like just peer and see if I need anything. But you don't even gotta come over here a whole bunch of times. That's just me though. But you can't gauge that with everybody. You don't know that off rip just off of looking at somebody. So there's grace for that. But yeah, just literally had the worst waitress, man, and I just couldn't do it. Like I wasn't debating whether I should give her 15 or 20. My thing was, should I give her a tip at all? You know, and it just goes back to the we don't get what we deserve thing. But then some people like to um, teach people a lesson by not giving them a tip and all of that stuff. And I'm not that person. Like $10, I'm not gonna slap you in the face by giving you 10% or 5%. But there was this one time, and I don't regret it. My friend, he gets on me all the time about it. We were at IHOP. This lady literally did less than the bare minimum. She took our order, she gave us our drink, and she gave us the check. Literally it. And she got whatever change I had left. I was like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? And like the place wasn't even packed. It was like three people in that restaurant. We were at IHOP. So yeah, there's a dual responsibility. People, please tip your waiters and tip them accordingly. Waiters, please do not think that you are entitled to a tip just because you waited on somebody. There is some type of effort that you have to put in it. Not everybody is like me and is just going to tip you. I want to talk about this, and I'm going to end it here. I hate to be that guy, when it comes to the Harriet Tubman situation with the United States Treasury and all of that stuff, and her being on the $20 bill that Andrew Jackson was on. But I feel like nobody else is being that guy. And I hate to be that guy, but deep down I might be that guy. I think I have 2 questions for Black America. Well, 1 question and 1 rebuke. We'll start with the question first. Who else, and this is a rhetorical question, who, of course, because you guys can't respond. Although y'all tell me that y'all want to respond, I greatly appreciate that. But rhetorical question. Who else would have been better suited to be on that $20 bill other than Harriet Tubman? If you are educated in Black history, you should be able to think of many, many, many a person to have been better suited to be on that $20 bill. Now, when I say this, it is not a knock to Harriet Tubman and all that she has done, or nor the Underground Railroad or anything like that. It has been said the last thing Harriet Tubman probably would have wanted is to be on this $20 bill. My thing is more so what it says about America, and like why Harriet Tubman. I can see it in one way. It was like, well, we need to remind America about what has happened, and I think for that reason she might be a good fit for that, for sure. Because they try to sweep it under the rug, but it's like, no, we're not about to forget about this. So in that sense, I can see Harriet Tubman. But then on the flip side, it's like, are you trying to keep us down? Every time we look at this $20 bill, are you trying to remind us of where we came from? Or this isn't where we came from, but this is a situation that we were in for the better part of 400 years. You know? Are you trying to remind us of that? Like, to keep us in our place? Or don't you guys forget? Yeah, you on this $20 bill, but also remember that y'all were slaves. Also remember that the struggles and all of that type of stuff that we put you through. Like, remember those things, you know? It's like, so you never wanted to depict us as educated beings. You never wanted to depict us as people who built this country. I could think of George Washington Carver. He could have been on that thing. You got Thurgood Marshall, who could have been on there. You got Sojourner Truth, who could have been on there. Like, if you want a woman, like, the list goes on and on. Why? And no respect, no disrespect to Harriet Tubman, but you could have literally put anybody else. You had a litany of people to choose from, and you chose a slave. You chose a slave. You could have chosen anybody. And I'll leave it at that. My rebuke to Black America. Why are we celebrating? Why are we celebrating this like it's a victory won? Why are we celebrating this as if America threw us a bone? Well, first of all, they threw us a bone. They threw us a bone. That's what they did. They threw us a bone. And what do we do? Like, what do we do? Like, the people that they thought that we are, or think that we are. When I say America, excuse me, of course I mean white America. And I don't mean every white person. Now, I've learned that people don't get generalizations. So I'm generalizing. I know white people, and not all white people are bad and all of that type of stuff. I'm not disclaiming. I'm not. This is dumb. I'm not doing this. I apologize for even doing this. So y'all should know, but y'all should know that I don't mean every. But when I'm talking about white America, I'm talking about the man. And those people know who they are, and you know who they are. But why are we so celebratory when stuff like this happens? That's why stuff like this doesn't happen. Cause we're not demanding this stuff, and we're not, and like when it happens, it's like, oh, thank you, master. Dare I say? It's less of a thank you. It should be less of a thank you, and it should be, well, this is what we deserve. This is, so what? Like, you know, okay, and oh yeah, we're gonna put Harriet Tubman on here. Okay, cool. Or we're gonna put somebody black on the dollar bill. Okay, cool. What else? You know what I'm saying? Like you know, not like we're waiting to be handed something. Now, first, and I'm not that guy that doesn't think that. I'm not the guy that thinks that we shouldn't be that I'm not the person that thinks that you should pick yourself up by your own bootstraps all the time, and that you shouldn't be handed stuff at any time or anything like that. I'm not that person. But it's kind of like a be grateful when somebody hands you something, but don't expect it. So because you weren't expecting it, then you were grateful. But I'm also saying that this isn't one of those cases. This is not one of those cases. We need to stop acting like this isn't our country. This is our country. Once again, built it. Built it. Would not be the country that it is without our our forefathers breaking their backs, literally breaking their backs, breaking their bones, blood, sweat, and tears. Literal blood, sweat, and tears are in the soil of this country that we call great. I rebuke you, Black America. I do. We are better than this. Why are we so like overjoyed for something that should be handed, that should be like, that should be the status quo? Like, why are we, oh, every time something like, oh, well, such and such says she got swag, she got hot sauce in her bag, and like it's the pandering thing. And that's a whole nother thing, but I won't get into that today. But come on now. Come on. This like, okay, and first of all, it's not even gonna go down to like 2030 or anything like that. So you got 14 years, but keep in mind, it didn't take 14 years for them to change the $100 bill. It didn't take years for them to change the money, that from the old money to the new money. Remember when they changed all the money except the dollar bill? It didn't take that long. So why are we so overjoyed about something that should just be like, like, we need to stop treating ourselves like we second class citizens and demand this type of stuff. I'm not saying that we need to take over the country or anything like that. But like, why are we memeing it up and like, oh, I'm just so happy for this? Like, do you really think this means change? No pun intended. Do you really think that this means change? No, it's the same thing that they've been doing over and over. And I'm not about to be one of those like enlightenment guys like, oh, don't get distracted from this and that and all of that. Oh, because they want you to be excited about this $20 bill and don't be worrying about this, that, and the third. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is this is as much our country as it is theirs. And we need to act like that. I know what society we live in. I know what system we're under. And it's a system that isn't designed for us to succeed. But we have a part that we need to play in it as well. Where we're not just saying thank you for the scraps that you give us every now and then. We got to get it together. We got to do better. I also wanted to talk about this thought that I was having about, like, in light of Prince, like, and just thinking about how much of an artist Prince was. And I just been having a thought of, it's just been popping up in my head recently. And it's a quote, and I'm still working it out. Well, I'm quoting it. It's my quote. Artists don't make mistakes. It's a thought that I'm working through. Artists don't make mistakes. And for the artist, I think the artist will get it immediately, or let it linger a little bit and then be like, okay, I get where you're coming from. But let me explain to the layman in this situation. In art, well, coming from the idea that God is the greatest creator and the greatest artist of all time, and he doesn't make mistakes. We are the Imago Dei. We are made in the image of God. Just a theory that I'm working with. Just some theory. You can disagree, and I'll be fine. And so will you if you disagree. We cannot agree, and it'll be okay. We are made in and believing under the belief that everything happens for a reason. When you're doing art, I know my guy Jackson Pollock, he felt like, like if you made a quote unquote mistake while you're painting or whatever, that's what it was supposed to be. You know? So like things don't just happen for no reason. Everything has a purpose. So whether you didn't want to, like, I know people that have made tracks upon tracks and lost all of their tracks, and then when they started writing again or creating again, all their new stuff was way better than their old stuff. Coincidence? I think not. All that stuff happens for a reason. When you say, yeah, let's take painting for it. You blot, you smudge something on a portrait that you're drawing, or some type of landscape that you're drawing or whatever, and on your canvas, and and then you have to accommodate, you have to be creative in that moment so that you don't waste whatever it was that you were doing, and you had to be creative in that. Truly believe that that was God designed. So all things happen for a purpose, and I think that's essentially what I'm getting at when I say artists don't make mistakes. It's not that you don't mess up, but it's like, yo, that wasn't a mistake. Like, what are you going to do to better it? What are you going to do to fix it? Like, now what is supposed to happen? The art is in fixing. The art is in the improvisation. That's where it is. Still working it out. If you don't agree, it's okay. Um, but I think I'm gonna roll with that, and I think I found peace with that. And it helps me. Cause I believe that I'm an artist. If you're not an artist, I don't expect you to get this. It's okay. But just something I was dealing with or thinking about, not dealing with, but thinking through, and especially, I think it would be apropos to talk about it since we're talking about one of the greatest human artists to live, one of the greatest earthly artists to live. He was a sheer artist, like the epitome of an artist. So yeah, man. Yeah, that's what it is for this week. I'll holler at you guys. It's super late. I gotta get up early in the morning and do a video shoot, and it's gonna be great. So I'll see you guys next week, and prayerfully I have a guest next week. Um, I hope this podcast didn't bore you too much because I spoke lightly like this the whole time, but it is what it is. Artists don't make mistakes. Peace out. Oh, that's not gonna sit well with some of you. But once again, it's okay. Talk to you later. Bye bye. I'm signed off like I was getting off the phone. That's how I get off the phone. Talk to you later. Bye bye.